Following up Nicole's upper body foam rolling routine, I'm going to do a lower body routine. And we're going to start with my favorite, which is a gut smash. So I'm going to roll out my stomach. I really like doing it on a table. You can also do this on the ground. I have a big ball here. Obviously, this could be a softball. I have a foam roller. You could use a bat. Really, you could use anything that you have on hand. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start. Foam roller is going to be at the edge of the table. And you're just going to kind of start up by your ribs, going side to side. Really make sure you're breathing. So like Nicole talked about, we always want to be moving. So we can go side to side. Even for your trunk, just breathing counts as moving because you're expanding and contracting. So big deep breaths in, big deep breaths out. You can go to the side, get into your obliques. Everything is free game. So you can really do whatever you want here. Go towards the places that you feel like you need it. Roll down as far as you can, as far as you want. It's a very weird sensation, but I always feel so much better after doing this. And then when I like to get really low, so like down in my pelvis, I prefer a ball. I feel like I can get in a little bit better. So I'm just going to, again, put it on the edge of the table and kind of just get up on the ball. And again, kind of roll side to side. I'm going to focus on my breathing, expanding and contracting to make sure that I can get as much movement in the area as possible. So before I hop off the table, I like to work on my hamstrings from a seated position. You can start with a foam roller, and basically you're just going to kind of sit on the edge of the foam roller and just kind of go back and forth. It's going to feel a little crunchy, and that's okay. Again, lots of movement, and you can really like lean into this and get a lot of pressure here. Your hamstrings can handle it. Just a lot of movement. We don't really, you can stay still. Sometimes I feel like I need to just like find a spot and I just need to sit there. So it's okay to listen to your body, but for the most part, we want to move through those tissues to get everything kind of unstuck. And then you can just kind of move down, kind of same thing. As you get lower, you can bend and straighten the leg. At the higher part, it doesn't really do much, but as you get lower, it can definitely make a big difference. And shift to the outside, you can get on the inside, all of it, like with your stomach, it's all fair game. So you can also do this with a ball. It's a little bit more intense, but same thing. You can just kind of sit on the ball, get into that upper hamstring, and just kind of smear across from one side to the other. You can see there's a big clunk there. Try and relax as much as you can. Focus on breathing. The more you relax, the better results you can get. And the more you do this, the less sensitive you're going to be. I like to spend at least like 5 minutes on each leg to really, for me, that's how much time I need to really feel like I make a change. So now taking it to the ground, I'm going to start on my hips. So like kind of the spot where you can grab like on the front outside corner, that's what I'm going to start with. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a small ball, so like a baseball or a lacrosse ball. I find it a little bit easier than a softball, but if that's all you have, it's going to work. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of start in the fetal position, and I'm going to roll up on the ball. And I'm just going to kind of let myself get used to this. This can be pretty sensitive at first. Kind of rolling towards your stomach, facing the floor, and back to just vertical. We don't necessarily want to go back into the glutes here. I'm really trying to focus on the front side of my hip. And then what you can do once that starts to feel soft, you can kind of move down or up or wherever you need to go. But then you can also straighten your leg out behind you and then come back, right? So again, we want to try and get some movement. And this is a great way to help open up your hips and get a little bit better hip extension, right? Hip extension means more power, a little bit more speed, which in our game is obviously a very big deal. And so like here, I feel like I need to stay here for a second. So I'm just going to let myself stay here to relax before I start moving again. So again, learning how to listen to your body, but really trying to move as soon as you feel like you're able to. Now moving into the glutes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, again, I prefer a small ball here, but you could use anything that you have. You can use a foam roller. This is just my preferred ball. I'm going to start kind of right off to the side of my tailbone. So it's going to be pretty high up. in my glutes, like right at the top of my glutes, but just off to the side. And all I'm going to do is kind of roll to the outside, kind of slowly, and just kind of let myself sink into the ball. So again, we want to move, and then you can come back to the middle, go down a little bit, like more towards your heel, so it's a little bit lower in your glute. You can also, if you find a spot that you just feel like you need to stay in, you can kind of pump your leg. You can go straight leg, bent leg. You can just, right, play around with movement. You can cross over, smear out to the side again, right? Everything is fair game. Just make sure you're moving, kind of feel what you need to feel to get the input you want out of this. So moving on to the quads, I would recommend, and this is very much something that I got from Kelly Starrett, is spend like 5 to 10 minutes per leg, but don't worry about getting the whole thing. Either like focus on the top and see how far down you can get. You can focus on the middle, or you can start at the bottom and work all the way up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the bottom, so right at that space just above your kneecap. And I'm also going to put the foam roller off to the side because that allows me to kind of lay on my leg here. So I'm not holding myself in a plank. You could also put a pillow down if you have one of those. So again, right at the top of my knee, I'm going to start just by going side to side, get things moving. I'll kind of go on the inside a little bit. You can roll to the outside, breathing the whole time. And then you can start to bend and straighten. Again, you can kind of go on the outside. You can go in the middle, inside, do it all, explore it all. And then you can, so just like we went side to side with a straight leg, you can bend your knee and you can roll or kind of wag your foot side to side this way. You can also scrub side to side like we were doing with the straight leg. Again, kind of figuring out what you need. We want this, right? Quads are going to be kind of sensitive. We want this to end up feeling kind of like nothing. So once you feel like nothing, then you can roll down a little bit, get that foam roller a little bit higher up on your leg, start with the straight leg, and just kind of start that whole series over again. Don't forget to get on the inside. People forget the inside. Everybody knows about getting to the outside and kind of trying to loosen up that IT band a little bit. So make sure you get to the inside, bend and straighten, go through all ranges of motion that you can think of here. That's going to give you the biggest change. And again, spend like 5 to 10 minutes per leg so you can get really big change. And it's okay to not get the whole leg, because even if we just change this little piece of it, the whole system is going to feel a lot better. So I thought about doing a video for the feet, but I think I'm going to save that. But working on your feet is wonderful. However, I think for pitchers, I have found recently that a lot of my pitchers have really tight ankles. So if I can't get my knee to come forward, if I don't have very good ankle flexion here, it's going to be really hard to load your push off. So we want to think about rolling out your calves. So I'm going to start kind of right at the base of my Achilles tendon here. And I'm just going to go side to side, kind of scrub side to side. Again, kind of get on the inside, get to the outside. I'm going to pump my foot, make circles with both directions with my foot. So again, getting every single range of motion we can while having that skin tacked down on the foam roller. And if you don't feel like you're getting enough out of it, you can cross your leg over and get a little extra weight and just do the same thing. Once that spot feels like nothing, you can pull the foam roller up a little bit and just kind of start over. Go side to side, get on the inside, go to the outside, pump your foot, do some circles, right? There's lots, like, be creative. Come up with everything you can to help open up that ankle. And then one of the things I like to do after that is go right into kind of a single leg squat. Oh, and again, you would spend like 5 to 10 minutes, whatever you can handle, and just work up as high as you can, right? So in a perfect world, you'd get all the way up here, but calves are really sensitive. So a lot of times I can't even do the whole thing at one go. But after that, what I like to do is kind of go into a single leg squat. I'm going to focus on keeping my heel down, and I'm just going to push my knee forward. So really trying to get full range of motion out of my ankle. So I want my knee to be able to get in front of my toes a few inches, and I can come to the outside and kind of get that corner. I can come to the inside, but just kind of working that range of motion so that when you go to play either right after this or the next day, your ankle is going to work a little bit better. So to finish off the routine, we're going to go to couch stretch. If you're only going to do one stretch ever, do couch stretch. So what you're going to do is you're going to start by putting one of your knees into the corner between the ground and the wall. Foot's going to go straight up. And then you can start by just stepping your knee forward and see how this feels. So you want to make sure you're squeezing your glute. You don't want to be banana backed. Okay, just like a nice neutral spine. Squeeze your glute and think about kind of like moving in it, kind of pushing your hips to the ground, squeezing your glute. If you're not really feeling it here, like I'm not, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up on one foot. And so I'm a little bit tight right now. So I'm going to stay here. Again, kind of moving side to side, breathing, squeeze my glutes, let it kind of open up a little bit. And the goal is to spend 2 minutes here. And then once that starts to open up, what you can do is you can start to come up, again, squeezing your glute, trying to keep a neutral spine, don't let your ribs come out, and kind of pushing your hip forward. So spend about 2 minutes here. It gets your hips, gets your quads. It's really intense. Again, I kind of do this a lot, so it's tolerable for me, but it's still intense. And the more you do it, the better you're going to feel. 2 minutes every day. This is great to do post game. I really, really like this after a workout. I feel so much better afterwards. So that's when I would recommend doing this. So that's just a short little example of some things that you can do for your lower body to help you recover or get prepped for a game if you feel really stiff. I would do, if you're doing this for recovery, I would pick maybe 2 per night and stick with those and really spend a lot of time on those. And if you only have time for one, that's okay. Just never do nothing. I think I will probably end up doing a second part to this because there's just so many variations that you can do. So stay tuned for that in a couple weeks.